Third ingredient in beer, I'm going to say this, and a lot of people don't believe me. At Paradise, I am not responsible for making beer. I don't make beer. God does not give me the ability to make beer. Actually, no brewer actually makes beer. Beer is produced through fermentation. I don't have the ability to ferment anything. However, the third ingredient in beer, we call it the soul of beer, is responsible for all the fermentation here at Paradise. Anybody know what ingredient that is? Yeast. There are several other bacteria and other styles of yeast that are responsible for fermentation at different breweries. Here at Paradise, we don't use any souring bacteria, we don't use any wild yeast. We use Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is commonly known as brewer's yeast. We don't use bread yeast, we use Saccharomyces. I'm not in charge of fermenting beer. I'm actually more of a janitor, yeast wrangler. I make sure that the yeast have a very clean, hospitable environment, full of great goodies and nutrients, and make sure that nothing else is in there to compete with them. And I make them very, very happy. If you don't have happy yeast, you can't have a happy beer. So my job is make sure that my yeast is happy. If my yeast is happy, then they'll be able to produce great beer for us. So we'll boil anywhere from 1 to 2 hours. From here, we knock out directly below me is this little radiator-looking heat exchanger. We'll hit one side of the plates with 210 degree wort, the other side of the plates with about 32 degree water, 33 degree water, and a heat exchange will happen. The water will become very warm, the wort will become very cool. It'll come out exactly 65 degrees, which is perfect temperature for my yeast. And then we connect hoses down to these conical bottom vessels. Those are called our fermenters. You guys have caught us at a very interesting time. Last week we had all 4 of our fermenters completely full. We have packaged all that beer up already. So next week we start the process again. It's not very often you'll see our fermenters empty. We'll pump the wort into the fermenter, and then this is where we add the yeast. The yeast will be in contact with the beer. We can call it beer now, because now the yeast is in contact. The yeast will be in contact with the beer from anywhere from 5 days to 14 days, depending on how big the beer is and how quickly the yeast are working. After the yeast are done, they create an environment that's not very good for them. They create a very toxic environment to themselves. And we do reuse our yeast, so I've got to come in and save the yeast. We'll put a cooling jacket. There's cooling jackets on the outside of the tanks. Fermentation is a very exothermic reaction. It means it creates heat. And if we allow that heat just to pre-rise, we'll get a lot of off flavors inside the beer that we don't want. So we are very concerned about keeping the temperature within a very tight window, depending on what flavors we want to extract out of the yeast. But once the yeast are done, we turn the cooling jackets on full bore. The yeast will actually go into a hibernation state. They'll fall to the bottom. That's why those vessels are cone-shaped. They'll fall to the bottom of the cone, and we'll be able to pull the yeast out and store them until we're ready for them in the next batch of beer. Then we pull the hops out, and we pump everything to that squatty tank at the end. And this is where we add the 5th ingredient in beer. I know. I said there's only 4 ingredients in beer. Anybody know what the 5th ingredient in beer is? Number 1 answer is love. 5th ingredient is actually carbonation, or bubbles. So that's where we carbonate our beer. We'll carbonate 30 barrels of beer in about an hour. We do package into cans now. We put our hotbed and our clear water honeycomb into cans, but most of our beer goes into either the standard half barrel keg or the skinny slim size keg, which is 5 gallons. At the very front, that's our yeast lab. That's where we do viability analysis. That's where we do cell counts. We want to make sure the yeast is healthy for re-fermentation. Because yeast is a living organism. It's a single-celled organism. It's part of the fungi family. We got to make sure that whenever they do get put back into the beer, that they're healthy and they're not stressed. If the yeast is healthy, if they've reached their peak, we can identify that and we get rid of the yeast. We don't let them go back in beer. Because if we have unhealthy yeast, we'll have unhealthy beer. At the very back, we have some small fermentation area, but it's mostly used for storage. When we get our own canning line, that'll be the spot where we put our own canning line.